Our dear learners, now I am going to deliver and discuss a fresh topic that is known as Waqf or institution of Waqf under Muslim law. Ladies and gentlemen, the institution of the Waqf is considered as one of the most important branch of Islamic jurisprudence or Muslim law, and has been recognized and enforced in the Islamic socio-legal system from the earliest time, that is from the beginning of the mission of the Islam. This institution of the Waqf is as old as the religion of the Islam itself, and it is said to be the most important branch of the Muslim law or Islamic legal system. The reason is because it possesses immense potential for the reconstruction of the social and economic life in Muslim country. Means it has played the vital role in transforming the socio-economic condition of the Muslims in various countries, Muslim countries. Therefore, Waqf is considered as one of the most important branch of the Muslim law. Making a Waqf is considered not only a virtuous act, an act of spending in the way of Almighty Allah, which carries the perpetual reward, but is a welfare scheme instituted by the Islamic legal system to attain the social justice and economic parity by eradicating poverty from the human society, and makes the haves to realize that a share in their wealth and property is for the needy, poor and helpless class of the society. So basically, the institution of the Waqf is not only a virtuous act, a religious act, a spiritual act, an act of giving away something in the name of Almighty Allah, but a foundation of the Waqf basically is laid or is rooted in the socio-economic philosophy of the Muslim society. Because in any society, like any society, in Muslim society also there may be the people having the wealth, huge wealth, and therefore because of the having the huge wealth, there may be the richer people in the society. At the same time, there may be a class of the people in the same society who may be marginalized class, economically marginalized class, because of not having the economic resources as much as other people. So almost in every society there is a clear division. One set of the people are very wealthy, rich, and there may be a considerable number of the people in the same society resourceless, economically very poor, even may not be having the resources for 2 times bread and butter. And therefore, the society, in this way, society may be vertically divided into the poor and rich. Basically, by giving the concept of the Waqf, Islam wanted to make realize to the richer or the rich people that whatever wealth they have or they have got out of their earning, In fact, in their wealth, there is a share for those who are having the resourceless, poor, and downtrodden in the same society. And this scheme, the scheme of the work basically is based on a social philosophy. And the social philosophy is or economic philosophy, economic justice, basically it is based on the economic justice, because the economic justice requires that something out of the resourceful should go to those who are resourceless. In the modern system, there is a tax system. Tax is realized from those who are wealthy people, having the wealth above a line, and tax basically is spent for the development of the society, for the to help the other people of the society who are having the resources. Therefore, the Waqf basically is aimed at to help the person in distress, orphans, resourceless widows, and poverty-stricken people. The income of the Waqf property is extremely helpful in eliminating the poverty and starvation, caring the sick, looking after the orphans, widows, burial of deads, maintenance of mosque, funding of the children, education, establishing the school, occasional training centers, hospital, clinic, etc. etc. Therefore, the Prophet of the Islam, peace be upon him, gave through Waqf a way to create a perpetual charity so that beneficiary, therefore, the benefit may percolate to the poor and resources person in perpetuity. It is only in the rare circumstances that alienation is allowed of the Waqf of property, because in Waqf basically whatever property is dedicated as a Waqf, property remains intact. Only the benefit or the usufruct of the property is allowed to be applied on any good human cause. There is no evidence that such a complex system of appropriating of usufruct as a life interest to varying and successive classes of the beneficiaries ever existed prior to Islam. So, Waqf basically is an unique institution founded on the socio-economic justice and aims at to help the poor people of the society. Now, point is, what is the Waqf, or what is the meaning and definition of the Waqf? Friends, the word Waqf in Arabic language here means to hold, confine, prohibition or detention of something in perpetuity. In Muslim law, the word Waqf means holding or detaining or preventing certain property and preserving it for application of the benefit accruing therefrom for certain good and pious purposes. The Waqf literally means tying up of an animal such as horse, camel, and in the language of law, it signifies the dedication or detention of some specific movable or immovable property, either in express terms or by implication for any religious, pious, or charitable object, or to secure any benefit to the human being. Waqf, according to the classical Islamic jurist, means dedication or tying up of property for some good purpose or purposes recognized by Muslim law to gain the divine pleasure in such way that corpus remains intact and only its usufruct is spent on the objects specified by the Waqf. So the dedication of some specific movable or immovable property by its owner for any purpose recognized by Muslim law as religious, pious or charitable is called or may be called as waqf. Therefore, it may be clarified in simple words as to what is meant by the term waqf. Friends, waqf, when some bona fide owner, or you can say that when any bona fide owner detain, dedicate or tie up his or her any movable or immovable property for any purpose which is recognized by Muslim law as religious or pious or charitable, every such dedication of the property by a person who is Muslim is called as waqf. So by dedicating the property in perpetuity by the owner, a perpetual charity is created. And perpetual charity is created that in such a way that the corpus of the thing is not allowed to be consumed by the beneficiaries. Only the income arising from the corpus of the thing is spent on the object of the work which may be specified by the Waqf. While creating the work either oral or in writing. So, when there is a dedication of the property, movable or immovable, and the object of such dedication is to create a perpetual charity, then every such dedication of the property will be called as waqf according to the Muslim law. Since the waqf is a legal institution, it is a legal concept. Therefore, the jurists of Islam have made a successful attempt to formulate the practical working legal definition of the term waqf. Imam Abu Hanifa, the great jurist of his time, as well as the founder of the Hanafi school, also made a successful attempt to define as to what is meant by the term waqf. According to Abu Hanifa, waqf is tying up or detention of a specific thing in the ownership of the waqf and devotion of its profit in charity on the poor or other good cause, human cause or objects. The most striking and dominant elements in the definition of the waqf as formulated by great jurist Imam Abu Hanifa are that ownership of the waqf in the dedicated property even after waqf continues, and being the continuous owner, he is at liberty to revoke the waqf and may also dispose of the waqf property according to his own will. Abu Hanifa further holds that the right of the waqif in the dedicated property as waqf extinguishes only after decree or order of the judge or qazi if the delivery of the subject of the waqf was given to the mutawalli. This primitive and unpractical notion was never accepted among the followers of the Hanafi school. Even his own disciple did not agree with the kind of the definition formulated by Imam Abu Hanifa. And therefore, a definition of the waqf, a very practical definition of the waqf was given by a disciple of Imam Abu Hanifa himself, and that is Imam Abu Yusuf. According to because the judicial decision, the enunciation of Imam Abu Hanifa, the great disciple of Imam Abu Hanifa, the chief Qazi of Baghdad in the recognized as law throughout the Sunni world. So Imam Abu Yusuf, the disciple of Imam Abu Hanifa, has given his own definition of the waqf, which is totally contrary to the definition of the waqf given by Imam Abu Yusuf, Imam Abu Hanifa. According to Imam Abu Yusuf, what is the waqf? He says that waqf is detention of a thing in the implied ownership of Almighty God in such a manner or way that its profit may be applied for the benefit of human being, and dedication when once made is absolute, so that the thing dedicated can neither be sold nor given nor inherited. Ladies and gentlemen, from the definition of the Imam Abu Hanifa, or the definition of Imam Abu Yusuf is different from the definition of the waqf given by his own teacher Imam Abu Hanifa, in the sense that according to Imam Abu Hanifa, once a property is dedicated as a waqf, the ownership of the waqif in the waqf property continues and does not cease to exist, and therefore at any point of the time the waqif can revoke the gift, revoke the waqf, and can dispose of the waqf property, being the owner thereof. But Imam Abu Yusuf does not agree with his teacher on this point, and he says that as soon as there is a declaration of waqf, oral or in writing, immediately on the declaration that certain properties are dedicated as waqf, immediately on the declaration of certain property as a waqf, the ownership right in the property dedicated as waqf immediately extinguishes. And by fiction of the law, same stand transferred in the name of Almighty Allah. Means as soon as a property is dedicated as a waqf, property, the owner of that very property becomes Almighty Allah. Only possession is taken over by the mutawalli of the property as a caretaker. Otherwise, ownership of the waqif by fiction of the law is transferred to Almighty Allah, and Almighty Allah becomes the owner thereof. And therefore, right of the ownership right of the waqif ceases to exist or extinguishes in the property dedicated as a waqf, and the ownership by fiction of the law is vested in Almighty Allah, and Almighty Allah thereby becomes the owner thereof. Therefore, once a waqf, always waqf, means once a property is dedicated as a waqf, it cannot be revoked, as well as it cannot be further subject matter of the gift, sale, or it cannot constitute a fresh stock of descent. It cannot be subject matter of inheritance. Meaning thereby that as soon as somebody makes the declaration that his such and such property is dedicated as a waqf for such and such either religious or pious or charitable purpose, immediately on the declaration by the waqif or by the owner, a ownership right of the waqif in such property extinguishes, and they goes to Almighty Allah, and Almighty Allah becomes. Since Almighty Allah has become the owner thereof, therefore there is no question of further disposition of the such property by any means, may be sale, may be gift, may be inheritance, etc. etc. So according to Imam Abu Yusuf, even after dedicating the property as a waqf, ownership right of the waqif in the property, waqf property continues to exist. According to Imam Abu Yusuf, immediately on declaration dedicating the property as a waqf, right of the waqif in the property extinguishes, comes to end, and ownership passes out of the waqif to the Almighty Allah, and Almighty Allah becomes the owner thereof by fiction of the law. According to Imam Abu Yusuf, Imam Abu Hanifa, after dedicating the property as a waqf, not only the right of the ownership continues, but subsequently the waqf is also revocable and can be revoked or can be cancelled by the waqif. Imam Abu Yusuf says that no, once a property is dedicated as a waqf, ownership right are extinguishes and the property goes beyond to the control of the owner. Since it goes beyond the control of the owner, or the possession is delivered to the mutawalli of the waqf, and therefore waqif will have no right further either to dispose of the property by sale, by gift, by any other means, and even on the death of the owner of the property, his legal heirs cannot claim any right or title in the property. This is the view of, and in this way, disciple on the definition of the waqf totally differed from his own teacher, and later on in the Islamic world, definition of the waqf formulated by Imam Abu Yusuf was accepted by all sects including the Shias. Imam Muhammad, the second disciple of Abu Yusuf, Imam Abu Hanifa, and co-fellow of Imam Yusuf, because both were contemporary, Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad, both were the disciple of Imam Abu Hanifa. They were working together for the development of the Hanafi school, for the development of the Hanafi jurisprudence. Imam Abu Muhammad also subscribed to the view of Imam Abu Yusuf on the definition of the waqf. But he said that ownership of the waqif will cease to exist in the waqf property only when the mutawalli is appointed by the court and property has been possession of the property has been handed over by the waqif to the mutawalli of the waqf or curator of the waqf. Until the delivery of the possession of the subject matter of the waqf by the waqif to the mutawalli, he continues to be the owner or caretaker thereof. This is the only difference. Otherwise, he also agrees that once the property has been dedicated as a waqf, right of the waqif will cease to exist after delivery of the possession of it to the mutawalli of the waqf or whosoever is the manager or caretaker of the waqf property. So, this is the basic difference between the definition coined by Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Hanifa. Imam Hanifa basically was the teacher of both Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad. But you can notice that on the basis of the interpretation of the fundamental sources of Holy Quran, they formulated the definition of the waqf, and subsequently definition of the waqf was accepted by the Islamic world and for all practical purposes in context of waqf.